Welcome to the Overdrive Outdoors Podcast.
Your source for everything outdoors.
Let's kick it into overdrive.
Overdrive Outdoors Podcast, brought to you by Predator Hunter Outdoors. Whether you are new to predator hunting or looking to upgrade your equipment, Predator Hunter Outdoors will have you hunting after the sun goes down. Carrying a full line of lights, night vision, and thermal optics, along with tripods, calls, mounting systems, and more, check them out at www.predatorhunteroutdoors.com or on Facebook at Predator Hunter Outdoors. Use promo code OVERDRIVE2021 for 20% off your order. Want to lengthen your time in the field and shorten your scouting time? Not only does the HuntWise app show you property boundaries, landowners' names, and in some cases even their phone number, but using the app will show you the wind direction on the map of the place you want to hunt. And the HuntCast feature shows peak movement times for various species, including predators. Get the HuntWise app at www.huntwise.com, the Google Play Store, or the Apple App Store, for only $59.99 a year for Pro or $119.99 a year for Elite. Use promo code OVERDRIVE20 for 20% off an annual membership.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Overdrive Outdoors Podcast. This week, we're going to be doing a tournament series where we break down 6 individual hunts that are going to be going on across the state of Michigan and some beyond in 2022. First, I want to say thank you to all of you who have listened to all these podcasts as we've put them out. It means a lot to us to know that we can put this information out and have people click on play and they listen every week. It's huge for us. A huge thank you out to Predator Hunter Outdoors, Paul Cianciolo, for being a sponsor of this podcast for the year. HuntWise, thank you to them. They're the map software we've been using all season. Make sure you check them out at www.predatorhunteroutdoors.com and www.huntwise.com. Without further ado, we'll get into the podcast. Thank you all for listening. All right, first up, we have Eric Trombley. Eric, thanks for joining us tonight. How are you?
Oh, good, man. It's an honor and a pleasure. I really appreciate you guys inviting me on.
Well, hey, thanks for coming and making the time. First up, let's get your tournament name.
I host the Canine Grand Prix. It's a Predator Ascension, J Sporting Goods, and Predator Hunter Outdoors kind of teamed up event.
Okay.
How many years have you been doing it? This is year number?
This will be, I think we started in 2018. This will be our 4th official year. The first 2 went well. Then COVID hit, so we had a small hunt last year, and this will be the 3rd one that we're looking to be returning to J Sporting Goods for.
All right. What's the date and time of this hunt?
Okay, so the start time is going to be February 25th. Release times are going to be at 6 o'clock at designated locations throughout the state. Right now we have, hey, that reminds me, Josh, are you going to do another release? I know it's your wife's birthday weekend.
We'll talk about that afterwards.
Yeah, you don't have to check licenses. I know how much you love that. But we do have 6 or 7 locations right now, and we try to strategically place them throughout the state. So the teams that hunt on the east side don't have to drive all the way over here to Kalamazoo and then turn around, drive 3 hours back. Or if you're going to hunt up in like the Gaylord area, it's like a 3.5 hour drive that way. So it really gives you more of an area to be able to release from and be close to your home turf.
Okay. And then what's the cost per team or individual cost if you allow individuals?
We keep it to 2 to 3 man team sizes. There are no individual hunters allowed in this event. It makes for a safer hunt. We don't want to see people get stranded or if you get injured, we want teammates because it is a long weekend of hunting. So it's nice to have that team, but it also brings out the camaraderie. So we keep it to 2 to 3 man teams. This year, the entry fee is going to be $150. That covers all of the side pots. You're automatically entered in all the side pots, as well as the meal and the t-shirts. if we choose to do those this year. It was kind of a nice thing not to drop, $1,200-$1,500 on shirts, and it made our pots bigger with a smaller crew. So with a bigger crew, should make the pots even better.
What are the side pots?
Okay, so for the side pots, you're going to have the heaviest coyote, smallest coyote, heaviest fox, and smallest fox. So we're the last tournament of the year where you still have fox and coyote available for scoreable points, which equal the same amount. This is a most harvest win. It's not by weight. It only comes down to weight if you're in a deadlock tie. And that's where your decision will be made. Now, in the case that we ever do run exactly to the same amount and same weight, it'll go to the one coyote with the longest tail wins all.
Do you have a deadline for entry?
We haven't really set that yet. We're toying with the idea of leaving it open. It just creates a lot of chaos for me and the guys that are helping me with this deadline. So we're looking tentatively at closing it the second weekend in February, which I believe is February 11th. But
Okay.
it's the second weekend, so usually right in the middle.
Okay. Do you have a limit on the amount of teams or people you'll be having in your tournament?
Nope, there's actually no limit. This is an open tournament, so if you want to get registered and enter, we're not going to cap it. A lot of times we get about, I'd say 75% of the teams will show up that have a harvest. Some teams just don't show up because they don't feel like they're going to get in on any of the pots, but it never hurts, as Josh found out, to show up when you only have 3.
No, we had 4, didn't we? No, we did have 3.
Yeah, I told you to keep going, but you didn't quite listen. If you guys would
I was
pull
ready
off
for
a
bed.
couple more, you would have had a big payday.
Is this a Michigan only or USA wide?
No, this one is specifically just for Michigan. It was brought up a couple of years ago, being that it's the last tournament of the year. It's kind of like the state championship of predator calling. It's the last big tournament where you get both fox and coyotes in it. So it's strictly just Michigan. We do have a way of checking. I put 620 miles on my truck 2 years ago, checking teams that were close to the Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio borders. And unfortunately, 2 of them didn't quite ever get back to me as to where they really were. So if you're caught cheating or caught hunting out of state, you are indefinitely suspended from ever participating in a K9 Grand Prix again.
Good.
Do you have any specific rules for validating a kill?
We do. Josh's favorite, we do have a shake. Pre-rigger shake ensures that in that video, the coyote or fox is flail. It's not frozen and it doesn't stiffen up with rigor mortis. We also have kill blocks that get zip tied into the mouth. Oh yeah, look at it. If you guys could only see how he's laughing right now, he's got big
Me
old.
and Kevin are looking at each other through this little screen, giggling like schoolgirls at the flail issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wiggling around. If you guys could see my animated talking, I'm always talking with my hand.
So this shake, just essentially for people that don't know, you lift the animal off the ground and record it being able to. It's a flexible.
It's a limp noodle.
Rigor.
Right. Yep.
It's kind of like Josh on every other weekend. Limp noodle.
I do what I can do though.
And when you in the video showing the pre-rigger shake, is there anything? I mean, do they have to say something, or do you actually have to have a sign with a photo with the kill information as well?
Yep, we do have a placard. Each harvest is going to have a harvest card specific to that animal. And what that does is it gives us a date and time that was harvested, so that way we can correlate that to when you called it in. But it also locks that in, because when we weigh it, that animal is going to have its own card with its weight, which you will sign off on. We also have implemented a kill phrase or a harvest phrase that we do. It's specific to that weekend. I've got every weekend hunt that I do, I have the phrases wrote down, so I never double them up, and you can't use that video later on saying that you harvested this animal at this time, and it's just an overlap. So we make sure that we ensure it's unique, specific to that weekend hunt.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, Eric, what what happens if somebody brings one in that has been previously in a trap? Because we've dealt with that before.
Yep. I think, Kevin, if you remember the first year, we actually had one that had an embedded snare in its neck. We do have a few judges there. Rick Ingalls typically is there to judge and tell us whether or not it's an old injury or a new one. And his judgment's usually really well educated. So we'll take it under advisement. However, don't be surprised if we brain fart. If we disqualify that kill. The one that had the snare in the neck, we did allow it. It was pussy, festering, and had been chewed off, and you could actually see where the chew marks were up and down that.
So very obviously not recent.
Yes, very obvious, not recent. Now, if it looks like it's recent, it's automatically out unless you can produce video on site that day and show us that you called it in, which most of these scopes record. So record your shot, and if we can see it's clearly coming to the call, and you shoot it, we're not going to disqualify it. I've heard of guys shooting them with traps still on their feet, but I've never actually seen one out of the few that I've killed throughout the years that I've ever shot one with a snare or even a trap still attached to the foot. If it's on the foot, bring the trap with you. We'll probably be able to find the guy and get him his trap back to you.
What if I have a game camera picture of the coyote with my trap on it earlier in the year?
He does have that right now.
I'll tell you to switch out to earth anchors and wolf fangs.
I was earth anchor.
How?
I don't know.
I've got some that are still on the ground from 2 years ago I can't dig out.
One other quick question for you, Eric. Is this calling only, or are dogs or trapping allowed?
This is 100% specifically to calling. It's the Predator Calling Championship. We don't allow dogs. We don't allow trapping. We don't allow roadkill. And we don't allow freezer coyotes. We will catch on to that pretty quick. It's specifically calling only. It's, team versus team. The best callers are going to prevail. Surprisingly, Josh Mapes and Matt Schulk did really well. I felt bad for Matt when he said he was hunting with Josh, but they called in a few last year and ended up taking home the silver. So yeah, it is 100% strictly calling, and it's anybody's game, really. I mean, the person who has the best, usually first night, wins it.
And where can people find out the information or enter, or how can they get a hold of you to enter this contest?
Actually, you can look us up on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page, Predator Ascension Outdoors Canine Grand Prix. All the registration, harvest cards, and rules are right on there. If you need to contact me, you can look me up on Facebook at Eric Trombley or Sean Eric Trombley, depending on if I get booted off or inappropriate verbiage for Facebook that they deem as hostile towards animals or people.
Violation of community standards.
Yep. I do that a lot.
I'm sitting there now too.
I said you should have shot the doe once, and I got a 30-day ban.
A guy posted a picture of a buck, and I said I'd kill him 30 days right away, instantly.
Yep, instantly. I hadn't had a violation in 6 weeks, so I was doing pretty good.
All right, Eric, thank you very much for your time. We'll shut this one off. And if anybody wants to contact Eric or enter into that tournament, once again, Eric, what was the website?
It's the Predator Ascension Outdoors Canine Grand Prix, and you can find us on Facebook, or you can contact me directly through text message. Don't call. I won't answer. 269-438-1494.
Thank you very much, Eric. We appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you guys for inviting me on.
All right, next up on the podcast, we have Brad Moosoff. How we doing, Brad?
Good, real good. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Hey, we want to know what your tournament name is this year.
Our tournament name is going to be Gunspace Coyote Tournament out of Heartland, Michigan.
Okay. What's the date and time of this tournament?
It's going to be Friday. The check-in will be March 11th, Friday. And then final check-in will be Sunday, March 13th, 11 a.m.
Okay. What's the cost per team or per individual? If you're allowing individuals, what's the cost per individual, or what's the cost per team?
So yeah, it's 1 to 3 man teams. Entry per team is going to be $150.
Okay. And is there a deadline on entries?
Yeah, deadline is on entries is going to be 6:00 Friday, March 11th. That
Okay.
way it gives us a half hour to organize everything before release.
Okay, so you're open all the way up until release time, basically.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a limit on the amount of teams you're going to allow? Like some only allow 100 teams. Do you have a limit?
We do not have a limit. No.
Okay. Do you have any specific rules for how people can validate a kill?
Yeah, we're going to be doing like a shake video, and
Okay.
where you send each video. We're going to have some blocks that we're going to make with zip ties, labeled blocks that'll be in the videos. So it's going to be definitely, trying to control the cheating, on that side of it.
Okay. Do you have any expected turnout? Is this your first tournament?
This will be our first tournament. We plan to do it annually.
Okay.
I've hunted a lot of the other ones in the state, and we're promoting youth and the sport along with Gun Space, which is a new app, which maybe we can talk about in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to be doing a shake video. Michigan only, or is this open to outside of the state?
Yeah, all hunting is to be completed in Michigan. There's going to be check stations throughout the state, which we're still looking for a few more people. Maybe one further up north towards Gaylord. And I am looking for one, maybe Grand Rapids or Kalamazoo, for people to host the actual check-in Friday night before we release.
Okay.
So it's be statewide, but yeah, we would love to have out-of-staters come in and hunt.
So they can hunt anywhere in the state of Michigan, just not outside.
Correct. And we'll be doing random calls where you drop a pin to your location within a half hour of when we drop the pin and that sort of thing.
Okay. Is this a calling only contest, or do you allow dogs or trapping?
Yeah, we're gonna it's purely calling, stalking, or baiting.
Okay.
We will have no trapping, snaring, or the use of dogs.
Okay. And what do you do if you have an animal come in that does have signs that it's previously been in a trap? Do you have any way of validating that kill as new or old?
Yeah, I mean, if it's real blatant that it's a real fresh wound, it's pretty obvious. If the contestants want to too, like lie detector test, if it's one of the winning teams and it's multiple animals and it really affects, the outcome of the top places, then a lie detector test may be initiated to solve any dispute.
Okay. Kevin, you got any questions?
No.
Anything else you wanted to tell us, Brad?
Yeah, I would like to say that we're going to run this through a Gun Space app. If I can tell you guys about that a little bit, it's a pretty neat deal. Basically, and also I did want to mention too, we are going to be giving away a thermal to every entry team. Is going to be able to win a thermal at check-in on Sunday. So we're looking at either a Pulsar or Trijicon right now.
Okay.
So that'll be a pretty cool. I mean, that's something that's kind of new. That's gonna be really nice.
So every team entered gets like one ticket?
Yes. It's gonna every team will have one that we're gonna have a drawing. If we have 150 teams, we're gonna have a drawing with everybody's team name on one ticket, and then whoever those three people have to decide how they split it.
So this guy is about to break up some bromances that have been going on for years.
Yep.
Well, cool. Anything else you wanted to tell us?
Yeah, I mean, basically the last thing, we're going to run it through this Gun Space app, which is basically like an Instagram or social media app for purely hunting and gun enthusiasts. It does have event management, podcasting, forums, but it's all inclusive for like the gun community hunting. There's no there's no outsiders that are going to come in like Facebook and just cut posts. It's real informational, educational videos and all that good stuff. So it's good for the sport, good for the shooting community.
So if I get on there and post that a 22 Magnum hits harder than a 243, nobody's going to fact check me.
They may fact check you. You know what is pretty cool though? Whoever gets the most likes on something in the month gets $500. And I do get second most likes on this gets $250 and $100 for third every single month. So it's a pretty cool app. You know, it's something to go on and see cool videos, and everybody posts, you know, nice hunting stuff. So it gets rid of and the politics of everything on social media.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out too. So where can everybody find this app? How can they find the information on entering your tournament, or how can they enter the tournament?
Yeah, we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be running it through the Gunspace app. So we should be able to download. It's going to be available soon. Also, we're going to have flyers and posters and on Facebook, on Michigan coyote hunting pages and predator hunting pages, Cody with Great Lakes, and everybody's going to be sponsoring us, you know, through this whole event, along with the Great Lakes guys.
Awesome.
So it should not be hard to find us. Also, Oakland Tactical is where the home's going to be for this. So if anybody has any questions, they can call up to the store itself.
Sounds great. Well, hey, Brad, thank you very much. Kevin, if you've got nothing else, I think we'll end this one. We appreciate your time, Brad.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, next on the podcast, we've got Mr. Cody Ketchum looking over like Grizzly Adams sitting there. What's going on, Cody?
Not much. How are you, Josh?
Doing good, doing good. We got
Thanks.
Kevin on for this one too, so welcome, Kevin.
Hey, everybody.
Out for the last one. So, Cody, first up, what's the name of the tournament that you help with or you organize?
The Great Lakes Region Predator Challenge. This will be the 8th year that we've done it. I'd like to say it was the 8th annual, but obviously with COVID last year, we were not able to have the tournament. So it's kind of getting to be a big event. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay. What's the date and time?
So the date is January 28th through January 30th of 2022. We have a mandatory hunter check-in is going to start anywhere from 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. The doors will be open. We were trying to get a bunch of people in, you know, to kind of meet and talk a little before. You know, a lot of people you don't get to see throughout the year. We're kind of looking forward to getting to chat with some people. We'll have some great deals going on at the store. Love if you guys come out early, check them out, talk with everybody. We'll have, I believe the Pulsar rep will be in there. I think High Caliber's going to be there. We'll have a couple different vendors that are going to be in there going over some stuff too. What are you guys laughing at here?
I don't know. Kevin's just laughing, so I'm laughing.
Is it my sexy beard? Are you jealous, Kevin?
No.
All right. So the release is going to start at 7:30 on the 28th, and then obviously gates will be closed at 11 a.m. on the 30th.
Sunday.
Yes, on that Sunday.
Okay. What is the cost per team or individual if you allow individual hunters?
We do not allow individual hunters. It's a 2 to 3 man event. It's $150 per team, whether it's 2-man or 3-man. We really haven't set a deadline on when registration is going to end yet. I don't know if I'm getting off topic here with you.
No, go ahead.
We're going to have a cutoff on, I don't remember the exact date. I believe it was the end of December. If you sign up in January, you won't be able to get a t-shirt. So, yes.
That puppy smells that peanut butter.
That dog is relentless with his peanut butter. Just wait. It gets better.
People are going to unsubscribe to this now. Do you have a limit on the number of teams? Did you just say? Were you going to cap?
No, we normally we base it on the amount of people, not teams, because we can only hold about 450 people comfortably.
Per fire
So-
code or whatever.
Uh,
Per fire code or whatever that is.
no, this seems to be the number that works out to where, I mean, you've been in that room, how crowded it gets, so it's usually about 150 to 160 teams, depending on how many 2 to 3 man teams you have.
Okay. Do you have any specific rules for validating a kill?
Not anything specific. It's the same as it's always been. We'll require a photo within 1 hour of the harvest with a harvest card. You'll have to tag the animal however we specify. We're not releasing any of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be all. Dog, come on, cool it. I'm trying to talk to people here. You can have your peanut butter in a little bit.
Oh, goodness. You have an expected turnout for the year?
I mean, I would like to see it, right up to that 150 team mark like we normally do.
Yep. Is this a Michigan only hunt? Can people come in from out of state, or can they go out of state?
It is Michigan only.
Okay. Is this a calling only tournament?
Yes. Well, you can hunt over bait. There's no dogs used.
And no tapping?
Correct.
Okay. And then what happens if somebody does bring in an animal with trap marks on it?
Generally, we leave that up to the discretion of the trapper. They seem to have a pretty good idea, whether it was legitimate or just by chance, it does happen. But we usually leave that up to the trapper to decide.
Okay.
Now, when you say you leave it up to the trapper, that's your panel of guys that inspect each entry, correct?
Well, when I say trapper, I meant fur buyer. I apologize.
Okay.
So every year you have somebody there to pick up the furs.
Yeah, usually, hey, knock it off. Those, we'll have a couple of guys there. I mean, usually you have the fur buyers there that are pretty good with the experience on telling whether it's legit or not.
Okay.
I mean, I think we've all been around it long enough.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Off the top of my head, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. I think we're gonna try doing something a little different this year. We're gonna. What do you do? You get there? Maybe we shouldn't do this with video.
I also had a dog barking in the background.
I think we're going to try doing something a little different this year. I haven't figured it out for sure yet, but I'd like to cut back our large payout amount that we have. I believe last year was a $4,500 payout. I think we're going to take a little bit of that out of the payout and we're going to give back to the community. Whether I think we're talking about maybe putting on some kind of youth programs,
Donate it to PETA
and stuff. What was that?
Donate it to PETA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to go to a good cause.
Yeah. Anything else, Kevin? You got any questions?
One quick question. In the past, you guys have had a seminar of some sort prior to the tournament. Are you planning on doing that this year?
We opted not to do the seminar because it seems to be the worst weather of the year every year.
Okay.
I mean, it's terrible, but we are going to have some deals going on that week, and I'll get back with some more information on that for you guys too. Because like I say, we're going to have the Pulsar guys going to be up there and High Caliber, and yeah, it's but those are just the ones that popped into my head.
Right.
We're trying to promote more of a community thing. Why getting back to the roots of why we're doing what we do. It's not about going out and just shooting as many coyotes as you can than getting this huge paycheck. To me, I could care less if I win all this money. I just want the bragging rights.
I always have just entered just to donate money.
Well, we
I like going
appreciate
to a
people like you
casino.
doing that.
All righty. So, Cody, where can everybody go to look at the rules or sign up for this tournament?
You can find us on Facebook at Great Lakes Region Predator Challenge, or you can find us on our website at, I believe it's glrpredatorchallenge.com, and follow the links.
Okay. Awesome. Cody, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Cody. See ya.
All right. So next up on the podcast, we have Mr. Mark Crumbaugh Jr. How we doing, Mark?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. And I heard you shot a deer tonight.
I did.
Nice. How many you got for the year?
Enough
to fill the freezer?
Yes. My freezers are full. No complaints.
Good. Well, hey, we want to know, number one, your tournament name.
It's the DJ Treeful Memorial Hunt.
All right. And what is the reason behind this hunt?
2 years ago, a buddy of mine, he was 34 and got into a car accident, and he died instantly and almost instantly. And he left behind 2 little tiny 5-year-old girls. And we put this tournament on to always remember him and raise money for those girls' future.
So do all proceeds go to this?
All proceeds go to them. And we also have a scholarship from the school that they go to. That money goes 1,000 and something every year, goes to a scholarship fund for any kid that signs up for an agricultural scholarship. Goes to that. So it's currently, I don't know, I think $7,000 or $8,000 is put into that agricultural scholarship fund. So
just from coyote hunters.
Just from coyote hunters.
Okay. Kevin, did you have something there?
I just said that's very cool.
Okay. What is the cost per team or individual if you are allowing individual hunters?
We do allow individual hunters. We allow callers and houndsmen. Any teams that we don't have a team size on minimums or maximums, just $10 per hunter. That includes a dinner at sign up, barbecued pork by Blazing Meats.
Oh, that's Mr. Marks.
Yes, it is. And we also have raffles going on there for guns and things. And on weigh-in on Sunday, we have a dinner and weigh-in. So
okay. So basically, if you're a single hunter, it's $10 to enter.
$10. Yep.
And 2 hunters is $20. Goes up $10 for every hunter.
Yep.
Now with that,
bigger, as small as you want it to be.
okay. So now a question pops up for me with that. Do all those hunters, let's say they get 10 guys together to go in, do they pool those animals together and can they hunt separately?
Yes, they do pool every team pools their animals in together. They can hunt separately, they can hunt together. However they want to, their animals get pooled in together.
Okay. Do you have any specific rules for validating a kill, as in for making sure it's fresh as of the time of the tournament?
Yes, every kill gets called in. Every team member gets a recording sheet. It's recorded, and as soon as it's killed, they call in. We have two head honchos, me and one other guy, that will validate their kills.
Okay. Do you have a deadline on entries?
No deadline.
Okay.
Right up. Our hunt starts January 21st, and at 5 o'clock is registration. Ending is Sunday at 3.
Okay. Do you have any expected turnout for the year?
Turnout as in how many hunters we're going to have? Last year we had, I believe we had like 115 hunters. So we expect to have just as good. Payout is $250 to
Okay.
the winning team.
Okay. Is this open to Michigan only, or can people be outside of the state?
Michigan only.
Okay. Can people come in from out of state?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'd love to see Tony Bonansaga up here.
Yeah. No, you don't. You don't want to see him. And you said this is open to calling and houndsmen, no trapping.
No trapping.
Okay. Do you have any way of validating if an animal is brought in with trap wounds that it wasn't an animal brought in that was trapped?
No, not really. I mean, we do look them over and we do weigh them in, and you know, it's hunter's honesty.
I understand that. Kevin, you have any other questions?
Nope.
Mark, anything else? Where can they sign up for this tournament, or how can they get a hold of you to sign up or get some of that delicious pork that you put out every year?
They can get a hold of me. They can call me on my phone number or text me at 989-533-8363. And I will be sure to get you signed up.
Sounds great. Thank you very much, Mark. We appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you, mates.
Absolutely.
You guys have a good night, Kevin.
You too, Mark. Thanks.
All right. Next up on the podcast, we have Mr. Ross Graveling. What's going on, Ross?
Not too much, Josh.
Hey, tell us a little bit about your tournament. What's your tournament name?
So it is SPI, so it's part of Sports Persons Ministries that we do it. So yeah.
Okay, so that's the SPI Predator Hunt, right?
SPI Predator Hunt this year again. Outdoorsman is kind of the title sponsor of it. So
Outdoorsman's in Jenison.
Yep, Outdoorsman Pro Shop there in Jenison. Yes.
What is the date and time of this hunt?
So it is February 11 and 12. Starts on a Friday afternoon, evening at 4:00, and then gets done at 6:00 on the Saturday. You have to be in line for weigh-in by then. I think it opens at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
That you can start weighing in, and so yeah.
Okay. What is the cost per team or individual if you allow individual hunters?
I'm going to allow individual hunters this year. In the past, we only did teams, but it is team or individual. It's $75 whether you do an individual or a team for that. Teams can be 1 to 4 people. One of the unique things about ours is that we allow children to come along as well, and they don't count towards your numbers. So in fact, if you have a child that's 17 and under that is a part of your team, when you send a picture in, you will get an extra pound if there is a kid that is hunting with you, a maximum of 2 pounds, but could be the difference. Most of the time it comes down to how many you shoot, but there's always that weight factor. So
Okay.
just a little incentive to get people that everything that we do, we try and make, oriented where we're getting more people and kids and things out involved. And so a lot of times we'll do an incentive like this to take kids along with you. So
Cool. Do you have a limit on the amount of teams you will have this year?
no limit on the amount of teams that I have. Nope. So we're currently expecting to do a virtual launch, and then weigh-in is on the south side of Grand Rapids, where it's been the last 3 years. I'm looking at one other option just for you've been there the last few years, Josh, but it's getting pretty full for the dinner part of it at the end, and so I'm talking to them about maybe having the dinner down in the church instead of the building behind, or I'm looking at one other option of another place that would be Grand Rapids-ish yet.
Okay.
Pretty centrally located for the weigh-in with the dinner. So,
Okay. Do you have any specific rules for validating a kill? Like when somebody kills one, what do they do?
we do. We have specific stuff, and that will be gone over in the virtual release at 4:00.
Okay. So do you do by chance the shake test that other ones require?
We will do a video of the shake. Yep. And then the only thing that they have to have is they have to have a note card, zip tie, and a marker.
Okay. Expected turnout.
Expected turnout. So this will be our 4th year. Last year we had 35 teams, even with all the COVID junk.
Well, and it was nasty last year.
And the weather was not nice. In fact, I know Josh didn't even hunt in it. Instead, he came in and helped me with weigh-in, which I was super grateful for. But
absolutely,
yeah. So as long as we don't have a giant snowstorm that night, I would think that we will be, probably 40 to 50 teams. I would expect us to have this year. I think everyone's come every year and has had a great time. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's always been well ran. Is this a Michigan only hunt? Are people allowed to hunt out of the state, or are they allowed to come into the state to hunt?
It is Michigan only. They can come into the state to hunt. Yes.
Okay.
Not go out of the state to hunt. So it's got to be in Michigan. But if they want to travel up in fact, I know last year there was a team, I think at least one of their members, they're from like down Buchanan area, and one of the guys was from Indiana, I believe, that hunted in it. So
okay.
Yeah, no problem with that.
Okay. Is this calling only?
It is calling and hunting only. So I mean, that could mean on the Saturday during the day, you could, whatever that looks like, you could not run dogs, not snares, not anything like that. But if you and a buddy cut tracks and you want to go after them or something like that, that would be part of hunting them.
Okay. And what do you do if an animal were to come in with trap marks on it? How do you determine?
Obviously looking at it. If that team has video of them shooting it, obviously that could clear it up pretty quickly. If they have video of the kill and we can see that it is not in a trap, it wasn't just, let out and is just barely starting to run or something like that, but is called in, usually, what do you think? 75% of the guys now are videoing their stuff. So if there is, video evidence, that is a very clear. If not, it would just be looked at and evaluated from there of, is this fresh? Is this older? And then decided from that.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to add?
There's a dinner at the end at the weigh-in. It's 100% payback. So $75 a team, 100% payback. This year we're going to pay first place, second place, third, heaviest, and lightest coyote.
Okay.
And if that's paying up to, I forget what I said, 40 teams. If we get 40, then we keep, for every 10 after 40, we keep adding another pay spot. And then the winning team will also get a gun of some sort that goes besides their check. They get a gun. And then we do a bunch of door prizes that in the past, just about everyone walks away with a door prize. Yeah. We also have a raffle at it for a different gun for $5 a ticket to be able to buy a raffle. And then, the dinner, it's a family-friendly environment that you can bring your family to, your kids to, whatever, for the weigh-in part of it. The other thing is, at the weigh-in, we ask the top 3 teams to kind of just give a little lowdown of how their night went.
Yep.
Not specific fields they hunted or anything like that, but just the general area, some of the things that worked for them. We're trying to reach not just your super high-end tournament hunters, but some guys that maybe hardly get out and hunt coyotes. And it's a chance for them to be a part of a tournament and then even come maybe at the end and learn from some of the guys that, did really well and that are very successful all the time. So a chance to interact with them, live face-to-face versus just online with some of that.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, where do people go to find information on this hunt, or how do they enter?
So all the information is on our website, which is spi-int.org. And on there is a page that has all the information, as well as registration and payment. All is handled right through there. I created a Facebook page or a Facebook event shared that with a few different things, but it all goes back to that link back on our website.
Okay. Awesome. Well, hey, Ross, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Not a problem. Have a good one, Josh.
You bet. We'll see ya. And last but not least on the list this week, we've got Mr. Cody Showalter. What's going on, Cody?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. I said your last name right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. All right. So what is the name of your tournament?
We run this is called Coyote Nation. It's a group on Facebook, and we run nationwide tournaments every week of the year. And then once a month, we have our what we call our big money tournaments, where those are $100 a person for those ones. And we pay out for big coyote, small coyote, most coyotes, and lucky coyote. And what lucky coyote is, which is a question I get all the time, we have it listed out on our page here, but what lucky coyote is what we were having a problem with was a lot of the guys were getting like one coyote. A lot of guys like in Michigan or Pennsylvania, spots like that where they're not able to get 20 in a night.
Yep.
Those guys would get one coyote, and it would be a 30 pounder, about the most average coyote you can get. So we tried to figure out a way to where like that coyote would be valuable, so like they get that one, they know they got no chance of winning. Well, so if you get at least one coyote in the tournament, your team goes into a drawing, and I go on Facebook Live, and I do a random drawing, and it selects a winner, and I do it all on Facebook Live, so it's legitimate, and so that helps the people that can't compete with 20 a night, to get into the money.
Yep, absolutely. So the date on this is every weekend.
Yep, every weekend. Yep.
Okay. What is the cost per team in your usual entry?
Well, we switch it up sometimes. Just there's some guys that like it a certain way, and some guys like it another way. So we switch it up. But most of the time, like our most standard tournament is we do $50 a team, and then we have and that'll pay out for big and small coyote. So everybody gets in that, and then we have an option for $50 a team for most coyotes, and then we got an option for $50 a team for lucky coyote if you want to get in that. So
okay. The team size, do you have a limit on how many people can be on a team?
We do not have a limit. We've never ran into any issues with that. The most people we've ever had on one team is 4. It says in our rules that you have to hunt together, and when you do a harvest video, you have to show, if let's say you got 4 guys on your team, well, the one guy holding the phone has to show all 3 other teammates to show that they're all there together when you get a coyote and send it in.
Okay. And
we haven't had any issues with anybody splitting up or anybody doing anything like that. But we got a pretty we're pretty strict on that, and if we catch anybody that's trying to cheat, we have a 1 strike policy, and we've been doing this for over 2 years. We've only had one person that's not allowed to hunt any of our tournaments anymore. So
okay,
it's we got a lot of good guys that hunt our contests. So
good. Any specific rules for validating a harvest?
Yeah. So at the beginning of the tournament, we do. So first of all, we do Friday and Saturday. You can pick which day you want to hunt, and it's all one tournament. Because what we were doing was we were doing a different tournament on Friday, and then Friday and Saturday were each different tournaments. Well, Friday we would have like 10 teams, and then Saturday we would have 3. So the guys that are hunting Saturday, it's not really even worth their time to hunt it. So we combine both days. You get to choose which day you want to hunt. So each day has a separate code word that we come out with. So at the start time of the tournament, we come out with a code word, and after each coyote, you have to take a harvest video. And in the video, you got to include the code word that we give out. You have to shake the coyote to show that he's limp, that he's not roadkill that you found, 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
You got to shake them. You got to say the code word. You got to show your scale reading 0 pounds. It's got to be a digital scale. And then when you hook the coyote up and you hang him up, you have to back up. You got to do a 360 view to show that, he hasn't been trapped or there's nothing hanging off them to try to add weight, which we've never had any issues with that. And then after you do that, you zoom in on the weight, show the weight, and that's it.
Okay.
And then at the end, if you're in a most coyote side pot, or it's the big money tournament, you have to do a final video, and that is where you basically just say the code word for the tournament, and you show all of your coyotes as soon as you're done hunting. So if you got 7 of them, you got to show all 7 of them in one video, and you got to say the code word.
Okay. Are your hunts calling only?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And the main one you run is nationwide, you said, but you also mentioned earlier that you do have a Michigan one coming out. What is that?
Yeah. We're excited about that because I just love competition hunting. I think it brings out the best in people. You have to, like when I hunt against all these other guys that are, going out getting 20 in a night, like it just pushes me to, be the best hunter that I can be. And I just love that part of it. So yeah, anyway, so we got a bunch of Michigan guys at the beginning, and it was awesome. And then we started getting all these guys in the other states, and a lot of the Michigan guys ended up backing out because like a really good night for somebody in Michigan is maybe 4 coyotes. Well, it's kind of hard to compete with that. And since you're running them every single week, if you want to get in it, you're spending quite a bit of money, to get in and hunt these tournaments. And when you're going against guys that, can put up that many, it's just, it's hard for the guys in Michigan. So a lot of the Michigan guys dropped out, and I know that there's people in Michigan that like doing it. And the best part about Michigan is even the best, guys, the best coyote hunters in Michigan, they rarely kill more than 5 in one night, So, on your average night, you go out, you get 3, like a beginner can go out and get 3. So it's like, I really feel like the playing field is level in Michigan. So, and we're going to keep the entry fee lower. It's probably going to be around $25 a person for that. So I'm pretty excited about getting some of these guys that were originally involved to get them back in and get them out there hunting.
Yeah. All right. So where can everybody go to find information on this hunt or to enter?
Our Facebook page is just called Coyote Nation. That's the nationwide one, and then it's CN Michigan for the Michigan hunts.
Okay. Anything else, Kevin?
No, I think it's pretty cool that you guys do that year round. Seems, you get a lot of people that only like to hunt when the fur is good and all that, but there's guys like myself and Josh and like to hunt year round. So it's nice to have that year round activity on it.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Anything else, Cody?
I don't think so. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks,
Yep.
Cody.
Yep. See you guys.